Welcome to the Personal Pension Radio Podcast, where it's all about helping you complete your financial journey to retirement. Discover time-tested strategies and get unconventional insights into wealth building and retirement that actually work. Break away from the herd and go for the retirement you dream of. And now, here's your host, the income engineer, Kraig Strom.
All right, back on Personal Pension Radio. Yes, it has been about a week since I put out an episode. I actually was going to put out, and I am still going to put out my first podcast on video combination. And that edit to that particular podcast, which has already been recorded, the edit to that has actually taken longer than expected. And on top of that, I have been blessed to be so busy in my financial planning practice that it's just been tough to sit down and actually record an episode. So I do want to get this episode done. Please forgive my voice if you hear my voice breaking up. No, I'm not going through puberty again. I just have had my voice, been used quite a bit. I talk a lot, and lately I seem to be talking more than usual. So my voice has been exercised more than usual. That is, my wife says I should just not talk for several days and I'll be fine. I'm not sure what she's trying to say, but you get the idea. This is Personal Pension Radio. I am the income engineer broadcasting from my studio workshop here in Norco, California. Now, I'm going to jump right in because I really want to make sure that I get to the content today. It is going to be brief. I do have an awesome video podcast episode coming up. Please watch out for that. That's going to be something that'll be posted on my YouTube channel and on the iTunes and on the SoundCloud and all the various different platforms. But if you're new to the show, I am all about that retirement income planning conversation. Notice the retirement income planning conversation. It is so often missed in the Wall Street financial advisory community that income is the ultimate reason that we save for retirement or build up real estate or business assets. But very few financial planners really stop and talk to their clients early in the process about the economics of retirement income. I want you to think about that. If you're working with a financial planner, ask them about retirement income. Ask them to run a retirement income analysis. That's going to be the driving point for today. I want more of these kind of calls and emails, which I've been getting, which is retirement income analysis. Retirement income analysis. Find out what you're currently on track for on your current path, and then find out if there's another option. Could you improve your retirement income if you worked with somebody that was so specialized in retirement income, they actually own the trademark as the income engineer? I wonder who that would be. Send me an email, folks. Kraig with a K, Kraig, at kraigstrom.com, and just write income analysis in your subject line, and let's get together. I'll send you back my questionnaire. We'll run your income analysis. I'll go over with you. You can take it to your financial planner, have a conversation if you like. We'll go from there. Now, let me jump right in. Before I forget it, always the disclosure. I am not an attorney. I am not a certified public accountant. I am a CFP, a certified financial planning professional. As qualified as this really cool microphone and this awesome podcast studio setup makes me sound, please don't act on anything that you hear on this show as if you're hearing advice for yourself and your specific situation. You're not. You're hearing just good general conversation from a very passionate financial planner. Please don't act on things unless you meet with said qualified financial planner. And dear goodness me, please don't act on things that you hear from financial entertainers, people who are not licensed or regulated to be financial planners. People like Dave Ramsey, the ultimate financial entertainer, that gives out 30-second soundbite advice to unsuspecting folks all over the country, and he is not regulated by anything other than the First Amendment. Folks, meet with a qualified financial planner before you act on anything that you hear on this show or any other show. Now, let me jump in. I love my deal of the week. So deal of the week. I get all kinds of great feedback for my deal of the week segment. So I continue to post it in here. And please, if you've got a deal of the week, if you've got a great deal that you came across, send me an email, Kraig@kraigstrom.com. I'd love to hear about it. You've got to work hard to beat me. You saw the title. You saw the title of this episode. I got a huge deal of the week this week for a friend of mine. But I'll start with my basic one, a much more attainable everyday kind of thing. I'm not sure if you clean your car yourself. I do. I actually like to wash my car. I like to go out, especially if it's not overly hot. I like to actually wash my car. I don't wash my big truck. I have a pickup truck. And for the price of about $20-25, it is just so much faster and more productive to let someone else wash my big truck. Now, my Porsche, I do have a Porsche because those of you who haven't listened to the show, I'll let you know. I do have a car dealership license as a hobby, and I run a weekly car show. I'm a bit of a car nut. So I have a Porsche that is for sale, and it will be sold probably in the next month or two. And I love to go out and actually wash that car. It's actually something I enjoy doing. I used to wash and detail cars in college and high school for money. I used to get paid for it because I'm a detail nut. So one of the difficult parts about cleaning my car is the wheels. The wheels are just a pain because you get all that brake dust and road grime and oil and stuff off the surface of the road. It's just a pain, and you have all those spokes and things you got to bang your fingertips in, and it's just a pain. So I've really wanted to find a solution, a way to clean the wheels on my car easily. So a friend of mine is one of the best detailers in the world, literally top 5 in the world in his trade. He's amazing. And he uses a particular wheel cleaner that costs $78 a gallon. $78 a gallon. It's not concentrated. It's literally per gallon, $78. It is the best stuff I've ever used. Awesome. It's amazing. You spray it on the wheel. You wait just a minute. It emulsifies all the grime and ugly stuff. And then you just hose it off and you blow dry. Yes, blow dry the wheel so you don't even have to dry it off or touch it. You have to do a tiny little bit of towel work at the end just to catch a little residue here and there. It's awesome, but so dang expensive that I just cannot bring myself to buy it. I just can't do it. $78 a gallon, sorry. That's just outside my brain power. I can't handle it. But what I can do is while I'm winding down after a long day and I'm just sort of sitting there in my chair, going to take 30 minutes, an hour just to wind down, I can open up my AliExpress app on my iPhone. AliExpress is that place where you can buy stuff from Chinese manufacturers that you can get just all kinds of cool stuff. So AliExpress. And I started looking on AliExpress for wheel cleaner. Sure enough, I found a wheel cleaner that says, some, random description, and it looks like that it could be a good idea. And it was so inexpensive, why not? So I bought it, and it arrived. And it's a little concentrated tablet. If you think about the tablets you put in your toilet bowl to keep your toilet bowl clean, these are little tiny versions of those. Little tiny versions of these tablets that you drop it in a bottle the size of a Windex bottle, 32-ounce bottle, fill it with water, shake it up, and that's it. So it takes a few weeks, and this thing arrived, and I put it right in a bottle, shook it up, took it out to my car, and sprayed it on the wheels, and amazing. It did exactly what the expensive stuff did. It emulsified this grease and junk and immediately looked like it was working. And I hosed it off. Love it. Absolutely love it. Right? So what's the cost of this magic Chinese concentrated cleaner, you ask? Well, for 20 of them, 20 of the little tiny tablets, each one of them makes a bottle, 20 of them, $4.99. That's 22 cents per tablet, 22 cents per bottle, okay? 22 cents per bottle. So if you really think about it, listen to this for a second. $78 a gallon for the commercial stuff that my friend uses makes 4 gallons or 4 bottles. That's $19.50 a bottle, folks. $19.50 a bottle. The stuff I got from AliExpress, 22 cents per bottle. That is a 99% savings. 99% cheaper. I love it. That is an awesome deal. And yes, it works. It's an amazing thing. It actually worked. And I gave my friend some of it to actually try it out himself. Okay. Now, that's my first deal of the week. My second deal of the week, you saw the title of this podcast. Hopefully it caught your attention, right? Supercars. So what the heck is a supercar? Some of you may not be car people. So a regular Corvette is a sports car, right? A regular Porsche is a sports car. But if you get into a Corvette with the latest, greatest, hopped up, supercharged, big giant engine, ZR1 Corvette, that is a supercar. You get into a Porsche Turbo or a GT3 or, the fancy smancy Porsches, that's a supercar. McLarens, Ferraris, Bugattis, all these kind of crazy cars are supercars and hypercars. Well, a supercar is expensive. They're limited production compared to your average Corvette or Mustang or Camaro, and they are expensive. So, a friend of mine really wanted to have a supercar. Really just wanted to have something unique, something different, is having a midlife crisis and wants a supercar, right? So, this particular supercar that he wanted sold new in 2017. So as I'm recording this, less than a year ago, it sold new with all kinds of amazing custom factory options. This is a Ferrari, by the way, this particular Ferrari. Was it a Ferrari? I'm trying to remember. Yes, Ferrari. This thing sold for $235,000. $235,000. And it came with all kinds of bells and whistles and amazing cool stuff. It's awesome. Very cool, right? Now, $235,000 less than a year ago. You ready? Yesterday, I helped that same friend of mine purchase that car for $174,000 with less than 3,000 miles on it. Less than 3,000 miles on the car, still under bumper-to-bumper factory warranty for $174,000. In less than a year, my friend was able to get this crazy cool car for $61,000 off. That's a 26% off the original price of a very specific, very, somewhat collectible, sought-after car. But no matter how amazing this car is going to be, it's still going to have massive depreciation. 26%, $61,000 less in less than a year. That is amazing. And did I mention? Yes, I did. It comes still with a factory bumper-to-bumper warranty. They cover everything on a used vehicle. Folks, that translates to anything you want to buy. Anything, virtually, from crazy supercars to a Kia Forte for my sister a couple of weeks ago. It's 26 to 40% depreciation depending on the car sometimes. It's amazing. Folks, don't miss it, right? Don't pay retail if you don't have to. It's incredible because that's $61,000 that you can put into something else, right? It's amazing. Now, just as a heads up, as we go into the next segment here, right? Last episode, I did go into this panic mentality that is promoted by some marketing pitches on the dollar crashing to zero. The sky is falling. Please, it's scare tactics, but go back and listen to the last episode. Please listen to the last episode. If you've ever kind of found yourself listening to that doomsday, buy gold and silver because the dollar is going to be worth zero someday, kind of a sales pitch on Facebook or somewhere, stop. Please go back and listen to the last episode on my take on the question about, is the dollar going to go to zero, right? Please check that out. Now, this week, I had a recent client. This is a big watch your step. Really watch your step out there, folks, because I had a recent client that was introduced to me by their attorney. And the attorney introduced them to me because their CPA, after their CPA had been asked by them, these clients, for ways to reduce their current income taxes, their CPA said, you know you're making money if you're paying taxes. No, that is not the answer you want to hear from your CPA. Yes, high income often leads to paying taxes, but it is not always the end of the conversation. It can be the end of a conversation if you're not working with a CPA who is a student at heart, someone who's always learning, or a strategist, someone that works with a team of people to make sure that we're looking for all the various different income tax planning strategies. And it's not just something that a CPA can do by themselves. You've got to have a great team. And this attorney for that same client has worked with me in the past and knows that I am a strategist. I love to collaborate with attorneys and CPAs to find ways to pay less tax. Legal, legitimate ways to pay lower taxes would be great, but it requires a team approach. So that client has been working with the same CPA since they were a basic tax return client. Now they own 5 Taco Bell franchises and a bunch of real estate, and they're still working with the same CPA who is an average CPA. They are no longer average clients, but their CPA is still an average CPA, which is good for most average folks, but not for these folks. They need a team approach. They came in to visit with me and my CPA partner and a tax attorney for a complimentary consultation. And by the way, folks, we do these complimentary consultations with folks all over the country. So just because you're listening to this in Kansas or New Jersey, or you're listening to this in Florida or Maine or wherever you are, doesn't mean you can't have this same level of consultation. You can actually do that. We work across the country with folks. So please, if you want to have this kind of a consultation, it is complimentary. You've got to take advantage of it. So in less than 60 minutes, my CPA partner and my tax attorney partner, we uncovered 3 different major tax reduction opportunities for this same couple. I mean, big tax reduction opportunities for this couple. But it took a team approach, because as good as I am, I can't know everything a CPA that is a student knows. And what do I mean by that? A student is that they're out there learning. They're pushing the limits of their education. They're asking questions. I'm never going to know everything that a great business and estate planning attorney knows. But together, we're going to be able to collaborate for the benefit of the client. Please, a team approach. If you feel like you're no longer average, and you're thinking, man, we're doing really good. And yeah, I guess we're paying taxes because we're making money. No, that shouldn't be the end of the conversation. Let's talk. You never know what we can do until you give me a call and find out. Send me an email, though, Kraig@kraigstrom.com. Now, listener questions. This is going to be a continuation of a listener question and from last time, because last time Josh asked, should we go solar? Great question. I gave my quick answers and some details on the last episode, so go back and listen to that. But before I forget it, I also went into a bit of a rant that ties into what I just said with these folks here again. This is another time that this has happened. I talked about it on the last episode, right? If you're paying big taxes and you love it, great. But if you're paying a big tax bill and it makes you mad, we should talk. I actually covered this again in the last episode. Now, this week, following up on Josh's question from the previous episode, I actually requested a quote to put solar panels on my house. Yep, I went in, I got a detailed quote, and I specifically asked for a battery backup system as well. I'll talk about that in a moment. But now, this was for my personal residence here in Southern California. My wife and I live in a 1976 ranch-style house, and it's about 2,500 square feet, single story. It's old and energy inefficient. The windows and the doors are all energy inefficient. I am going to be working on putting in new windows, new doors, all that good stuff. It's coming. It just takes time to finally get all the things done, ready to go. It does have some insulation in the attic, but in general, the house would not win any energy efficiency awards. So I contacted a great big solar company here in Southern California, and I asked them for a quote, solar system with a battery backup system. This is so important. If you're going to get solar, you've got to get a battery backup system, because what the power companies have done, it's really kind of screwed if you think about it. It's so messed up. The power companies know that you're on solar. So what they do is they change the price that they charge for solar based on the times when it's dark, for crying out loud. When it's dark and your solar system is no longer charging or paying for free power, that's when they charge you the most, right? That's when they charge you the most for solar or for electricity from the power company. So a lot of these power companies, especially here in California, that's exactly what they're doing. So if you don't have a battery backup system that builds up a reserve of power that ultimately allows you to run your house at night when it's dark, you will be right back on the hook with the electric company being able to charge you through the roof for power, right? So the system that would go on the roof of the house was quoted at $21,800. The battery backup system was $8,988. There's still tax and rebates incentives, and that totaled $10,951 off. So a net cost on my house installed was $19,836. All right, I'm listening, right? I'm looking at less than $20,000. That sounds pretty good, right? So let's keep going. Here's where it all falls apart for solar for many people. Well, in my case, my average electricity bill is only $158 a month, average over the course of a year. Because my wife and I use a whole house fan at night. We run the air conditioner sporadically during the day if we're home. We don't leave the dogs at home with a 900-degree house. You know, we'll keep the temperature up there in the 80s because the dogs are fine. But when we're home, we'll definitely keep it set down in the 70, 75 range when it gets hot. But we run a whole house fan system that keeps the house really cool most of the time, even in the hottest summer. And we're both very cold-blooded. We love the cold weather. So we really don't keep the heater on during the winter. We don't keep the heater on at a very high rate to keep the temperature up. So $158 is our average. So here are the purchase options for my solar system. We could finance the solar system, which is almost always the right way to go, right? I mean, financing when you use other people's money to acquire that thing that is saving you money. All right, let's take a look. The finance purchase, though, is $184 a month. $184 a month. Well, that's actually $158 is my average electric bill. So my net savings over 12 months would have been only $362. That's only $362 saved in a year if I finance it. All right? What if I pay cash? And by the way, I am not a big fan of leasing a system. Leasing a system can work. Do your math. Maybe use this as a benchmark to think it through. But I'm only going to talk about finance and paying cash. So pay cash. So let's do a cash on cash kind of a calculation here. So $158 a month, that's $1,902 a year. Well, the system costs $19,836. If I just paid cash, what the system would effectively be giving me is $1,900 a year, actually more than that, because there are some months that I'm paying considerably more, but let's just use my average. That would give me about a 9.6% return. So my cash, let's say sitting in a bank account, is earning nothing. But if I put that money into my solar system, it would be giving me $158 a month in positive cash flow back in my pocket because I wouldn't be paying for an electric bill, right? No electric bill. So that's about a 9.6% return by putting the cash into the solar system. And if I did the math and looked at it on a 10-year basis, it'd be about a 10-year break even. So $1,900 a year for 10 years, of course, I get about 10 years and this, I break even and the system's paid for and I've made back all the money that it cost me to have the system. But if we just look at it from a pure cash flow position, that's $158 a month that I could put into retirement savings. That's $158 a month that I could put into, payments or to enjoy and go out and get a massage. I could use that $158 today instead of paying it to Southern California Edison, right? So I'm actually seriously looking at a cash purchase of a solar system because that's a pretty significant cash on cash return, right? That's what I look at. If I put my $19,000 into an investment portfolio right now, could I earn 9.6%? Maybe. Maybe. Could I do that for a long term consistently? No. And if we really think it through, do we agree? I hope you agree with me that the power company is going to raise the rates over the next 10 years. So these numbers are going to get even better, where that $158 a month average cost would go up to $170 average cost. I'm sure that's not out of the question at all. And then my actual cash on cash rate of return from the solar system with the battery backup pack would be probably 10, 11, 12% return on that cash sitting in the solar system. And I'm actually really netting an awesome benefit. So personally, with my small power usage, I'm actually looking at this in the terms of maybe a cash purchase of the solar system. I don't know. I'm going to continue to do my homework. You know that I'm coming into this season right now in Southern California where it starts to get cooler, and that's when my electric bill is the lowest. My electric bill is the lowest in the winter, of course, because we do not run the heater nearly as much as we run the air conditioner in the summer. So I'm not going to see those kind of utility bills for the next few months. So I'm not really worried about solar right now, but I do appreciate the question from Josh. And by the way, Josh, as I'm looking at your numbers might actually really work with financing. It could work either way, but financing, because your electric bill is significantly higher. God bless San Diego County and those really high utility rates here in California. So folks, if you're thinking about solar, that might give you some assistance in how to look at it. And the real magic to all of this is, where do you put the money that you save on the solar? Hopefully you put it into a really good, structured, strategic retirement income savings plan so that you can max out that retirement or post-exit or whatever you call it someday. That's going to wrap it up today. My voice survived this episode. I will be back, and I really appreciate all your support. I appreciate all your questions. Keep them coming, folks. And remember, retirement income is not a product. Maximum lifestyle in retirement is not about 401ks, life insurance, IRAs, real estate, stocks, bonds, investments in general. It is a strategy. Maximum retirement income requires a strategy. And if you have no strategy and no idea what you're on track for, send me an email, Kraig@kraigstrom.com. Income analysis, complimentary. If you want to have a tax planning assessment to see if we can lower your taxes this year right now, send me an email, tax planning in the subject line, and I'm loving it. Take care, folks. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Personal Pension Radio podcast. We took notes for you, so if you missed any part of the show, you can find a full transcript of each episode at personalpensionradio.com. Be sure to download your free retirement income crisis report at personalpensionradio.com. While you're at it, we would appreciate some iTunes love. Please leave us a fantastic rating on iTunes by going to personalpensionradio.com/iTunes. Thanks again for listening. Now for the disclosure. Information presented is for educational purposes only and is not intended for solicitation, sale or purchase of any security or financial product. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and your tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed here. The term personal pension refers to a marketing name designed to educate future retirees and retirees about the economic principles behind creating their own pension-like income. The term personal pension is not intended to be confused with a defined benefit pension plan offered by an employer or by a government entity.